Showcat MMA, your latest MMA news, fights, predictions, recaps, analysis, and way more. Hey, welcome. Sorry I've been not doing videos for a long time. I guess I just stopped, but now I'm back. And UFC 125, wow, that was a pretty good fight. And I have results recap of the entire main card. Really just a tremendous fight. And we're going to talk about rounds 1, 3, and 5 in the Graham Mader vs. Frankie Edgar fight, and who Frankie Edgar might be fighting next, so stick around. Hello, and first up, we got Clay Guida vs. Takanori Gomi. This was actually very surprising. I thought Gomi was going to go in there and actually get the KO on Guida, even though Guida does have a very, very strong chin. And they started out very fast-paced, actually. Guida was probably doing the weirdest movements I've ever seen. It looked like a chimp on steroids, but he was using lots of head movement, and I mean, that's the reason Gomi came in with the same exact game plan. He tried to put in Takanori Gomi, and I mean, Takanori Gomi came in, he tried to put in the same game plan that he did for Tyson Griffin. And Tyson Griffin, has no head movement, and is very stiff, and likes to stick his chin out a little bit too. And it was pretty easy for Gomi to find a home for his left hand, and he knocked him out easily. This one is a bit more harder for Gomi. I think Gomi looked a little bit confused at Guida's movements, and it probably caught Gomi a little bit off guard. But Guida did land some very hard shots and mixed up some good combinations. The first round was definitely Guida because he was really controlling the entire round, and he maintained good octagon control. He landed 2 really giant kicks and scored a nice takedown. In the second round, an entire fight, Gomi was trying to was trying to jab him, and I think you may watch the GSP Koscheck fight because I think he figured out that he could win a fight off a jab, but you can't really jab Guida with his head moving like 1,000 miles per hour. And in the second round, Gomi did time Guida's head movement a little bit. I think he started to see that a little bit, and landed actually a very powerful knee. And you can hear the little Japanese grunt on it too. And except Guida did catch the knee and was able to take Gomi down, and then he put his arm right under Guida's neck, just wrapped it around when he was on top of him, and then turned around. Then all of a sudden he used the guillotine and wraps up the guillotine, and Gomi taps, and that's all she wrote. And Guida comes out with a win in pretty good fashion, I would say. Well, it was kind of obvious someone was getting knocked out. I was thinking Chris Lieben. I think he was talking a little bit too much trash. They came out fast, and they were both trying to take each other's heads off. When they did get into the clinch, there was a lot of dirty boxing, and actually some very good dirty boxing from Brian Stan. Trying to get main control in the clinch, both of them were, and it was like a real battle in the clinch, actually. Lieben landed a good shot, then Stan landed a body kick, and then a nice 1-2 combination in the clinch. Right out of the clinch. And then they got to the ground, and they came up, and Stan had doubles on Lieben, and looking like he was about to pull on a guillotine too. And then he found some room in the clinch, hit Lieben with a few shots. Lieben tries to escape, and then he tries to escape to the right a little bit, and then all of a sudden, Brian Stan's knee from hell comes in and nails Lieben's chin, and Lieben was out. Probably the worst I've ever seen Lieben knocked out. Even though the ref did stop it, Lieben was pretty knocked out. I thought he was knocked out after the first couple of shots, but Lieben is a very good fighter. Brian Stan's going to be a spectacular fighter, even though he doesn't have that much experience. He's still going to be very good. As far as Brian Stan's next fight, maybe, man, that's a hard one. Yoshiro Akiyama or Michael Bisping. Those are two good opponents. We might face like one more a bit lower until he fights a bit higher. But next fight we have is Frankie Edgar versus Gray Maynard. Okay, well, I was expecting Frankie to pull out a decision like he usually does, but they each played at each other's level the entire fight. It seemed like in the 5th round they were mirroring each other, and that's why that's probably called a draw. But Frankie kept with the good constant movement in the beginning. The first round was a good one. Gray was doing a good job of countering Frankie's movements and landed some pretty big shots, and in fact landed 97 punches in the first round. And I think we all remember the Shane Carwin fight where Shane put all his punches into the first round and was completely gassed out the second round. Well, that same thing happened to Gray Maynard, except for Gray Maynard didn't get finished. But Gray Maynard did look very tired in the second round, and that's when Frankie won the second round. But the first round, the reason why it was a tie because it was a 10-9. It was 10-9. Gray whooped Frankie the entire round, and they give him 10-9. It should have been 10-8. If it was 10-8, actually, it may have gone the other way. But it should have been 10-8. I don't understand how that is a 10-9, but I'm not a judge, and my opinion doesn't count. But Frankie just kept trying to stand up again, but whenever he was trying to stand up, he was leaving his face and head completely wide open. Then he was just getting absolutely smashed by Gray. I think Frankie was actually doing some pretty stupid things, and he was actually not defending himself that good. His corner was telling Gray to keep countering with that left hand because he was doing a very good job of it. But Maynard definitely won the first round by a 10-8, which is when I scored it. Round 2, Edgar came out looking like he did before. He even got hit, like very surprising, and he even landed a nice leg kick, and he landed off some really good combinations. Frankie also scored a huge, giant slam takedown. And then Frankie also landed some good punches too. Round 3, Edgar looked even faster, but sorry, I would have to give that round to Gray. Round 3 was sort of like round 5, but then I'm just going to skip to round 5. Round 5, it was exactly like mirroring each other the entire time. They were just mirroring each other. And it was like whatever Frankie did, Gray did, which is why I gave it to Frankie because Gray was copying him. But it was like they were each doing the exact same things. They would stuff each other's takedowns. They would stop each other's takedowns, and then they would throw a right. He would throw a right. It was pretty insane. 5th round. It was a great fight. Probably one of the greatest lightweight title fights I've ever seen. But Dana White has chosen and has changed it up a little bit and has gone with Frankie Edgar versus Gray Maynard 3 because everybody thought Anthony Pettis was good. Anthony Pettis has a long layoff. There's rumors that he'll be training with Ben Askren to help out his wrestling a little bit versus Frankie Edgar or Gray Maynard, whoever wins it. But it was just a spectacular fight and just really good. But in terms of like who won the fight, I would have to give it to Frankie. I mean, everybody says it's going to Frankie, but I'm not saying it just because everybody else is saying that. I'm saying it because I scored it that way, and I honestly don't think it could have been a draw. And out of all fights, this fight was a draw, a championship fight. But it's disappointing, and it would kind of be weird to not see a champion. I mean, it's kind of weird not to see a winner in a championship fight. It just is weird, and we haven't seen a draw in a championship fight in a long time. I don't know if there's ever been a draw in a championship fight ever, but just a tremendous fight, and I can't believe Frankie, how he held in there and stayed in there. He's got a real, true iron chin, and that's it for me.